old-fashioned way used to be for the family solicitor to attend the funeral and then go back to the house and read the wills of the beneficiaries. We don't often do that nowadays, but I thought it advisable in this case.
Why?
The provisions of the will.
What about them?
Edward, Mr. Castle must have good reason.
We all know what's in it.
Do you? Your father led me to believe that he hadn't revealed the contents of his will.
Well, not in detail, the small print. But if he wanted the company kept going...
He did?
Well, then it's obvious.
Let Mr. Castle deal with it in his own way.
Mr. Hammond's estate includes the road haulage business, a private company known as Hammond's Transport Services Limited. Mr. Hammond was chairman and managing director and held 90% of the shares. The only other director of the company was Edward, who holds 10% of the shares and is not married.
What's that got to do with it?
Your father had it in mind. I, Robert Hammond, the Fairways Shooters Close, Blackheath, SE5 in the County of London, a company director, hereby revoke all former wills and testamentary dispositions made by me and declare this to be my last will. 1. I appoint my son, Edward Hammond, and my solicitor, Vincent Castle, hereinafter called my trustees, to be executors and trustees of this my will. 2. I bequeath all my shares in the company known as Hammond's Transport Services Limited to my trustees, to transfer such shares between my said son, Edward Hammond, my son Brian Hammond, my son David Hammond, and my personal assistant, Jennifer Kingsley.
Well, they all get shares?
Yes.
Huh?
If I may continue.
She gets some.
Please. To transfer such shares between my said son, Edward Hammond, my son Brian Hammond, my son David Hammond, and my personal assistant, Jennifer Kingsley, so that when such transfers have been made, and the shares transferred are added to those shares already held in the said company by each of them, the said Edward Hammond, the said Brian Hammond, the said David Hammond, and the said Jennifer Kingsley, then all 4 of them, being directors in the company...
Directors?
Yes.
Good God.
Then all 4 of them, being directors in the company, shall each hold a 25% interest in the company.
Are you trying to say... Are you telling me that I'm left without a majority holding?
No one has a majority holding.
Mr. Castle, are you sure this is right? I've never worked in the business. I don't know anything about road haulage.
I've never even been interested. He knew that.
The will expresses how your father desired to dispose of his affairs.
Well, this is ridiculous. I worked with Dad since the day I left school. And him, second-class honours, first-class layabout, he gets as big a say as I do.
The whole purpose of the will is to divide control of the company equally.
Well, he must have been out of his mind. Oh, I'm sorry, Mother, I'm sorry. And her the same? She's a director now?
Clause 3.
Why?
Clause 3. I bequeath the sum of £1,000 to my daughter, Barbara Kingsley, for her absolute use and benefit free of all duties.
Mr. Castle, would you read that again, please?